Hey, buddy, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Oh, thank God you're alive. Wow, I took you out to do a cold weather battery test, and buddy, you were dead for over an hour. But don't worry, you're home, you're safe. I've got you plugged in and you're charging, okay? Now let me just reach and see if I can get the SD card out so I can look at the footage. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry about that. Greetings and salutations, I am Skojo in360. Welcome to the 360 Community Podcast. If it looks a little different around here, if you're a regular tuner-inner, I'm setting up a new live stream for YouTube, completely unrelated topic. It's about weather, but this is kind of a new studio setup I'm testing out, so let me know what you think. What we're going to do today is break down the GoPro Max versus the 1R for cold weather battery life. Now, if you don't know about my background, I was a meteorologist in Alaska for 5 years. I spent 30 to 40 below Fahrenheit temperatures on the back of a dog sled with cameras that were dying and stuff like that. So I know my way around cold weather batteries. I do have other videos on my channel that tell you how to deal with cold weather batteries, so take a look at those. But first, let's break down the 1R. Now, the day I took out the 1R was a little bit on the chilly side. It was actually in the teens, so it was a really good test because, you know, once you start to get into the mid to upper 20s, for anybody that's in cold weather, we know that's not all that cold of weather. So it was nice to have a light breeze, temperatures that were chilly, and we gave this thing a good run. I put it through 5K, I put it through 4K, all at, I believe it was 30 frames a second, and just had a grand old time out there. And then I hit the 15-minute mark. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are 15 minutes in, and I'd say we're about a quarter down, maybe a third. So, at least at this point, it's looking like it could live at least an hour. I believe they said it goes for about 70 minutes or something like that. But anyway, we are at 5.7K. It is about 17 degrees Fahrenheit. Again, -6, -7 Celsius. So the cold weather battery test continues. Now, I was pretty optimistic at that point, so I decided, hey, let's go shoot some 100 frames per second. I love 100 frames per second. Yeah, the 100 frames per second on the 1R doesn't look really awesome when you zoom in on it, but still, slow motion is so cool. I mean, 100 frames per second has got to be one of my favorite frame rates. Also love the 50 frames per second in 4K on the 1R. The batteries seem to be holding up pretty good, and then I was about 35, maybe 40 minutes in running the battery at, basically running it, shooting the entire time. And I had it in my backpack over my back. I was just gonna get some shots from up above. And when I took it back down, the camera was dead. And what makes it even worse is that the file it was shooting at the moment it went dead, gone. Yeah, so where I thought maybe I could get an hour out of this cold weather battery, I got maybe 35 or 40 minutes of continuous shoot time. So it wasn't quite what I wanted, especially considering the 1X now has a cold weather battery that lasts over an hour. Now, I took the Max out and it was about 30 degrees, so obviously a little bit warmer. They do not have other frame rates, so all I could do was shoot in 360 and some of the Hero HD 1440. And yeah, the thing performed pretty well. The great thing about the Max is the footage is absolutely awesome. I wish they had slow motion in 360, but they still don't. So I got it out there, I shot it, and I kept shooting, and I kept shooting, and I kept shooting. Now, when I got back, the hard part was I didn't notice I was in the 1440 mode at that point. So the battery, when it ran out after about an hour and a half, it worked longer than I could be out in the woods. I was exhausted by the time I got back, and I still had about 4 to 5% on the battery, so I was pretty impressed. So who wins the battery life award between the GoPro Max and the Insta360 1R? Yeah, the GoPro Max. It lasted significantly noticeably longer. Now keep in mind, I have to put an asterisk here because of two things. First of all, the temperature was noticeably warmer. It was a good 12, 13 degrees warmer, which will have an effect on it. Battery acid is essentially a liquid that as it gets colder starts to slow down. So the 17 degrees for the 1R certainly could have had an effect. No expert in that specific part of the field, but that could have an effect. Also, there is a battery for the 1R that is upcoming. I believe some places have them on sale now that is going to be double the size, which I'm very much looking forward to. When I get my hands on this, I will do a review about this. So if you want to know the winner as far as battery life, I'm definitely saying the GoPro. As far as camera, I'm leaning more towards the 1R. All right, that is it for this episode, the epic showdown between the GoPro Max and the Insta360 1R. If you like what you see, please hit a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe with the bell on the side so you get a notice every time I create new content. I'm ScoJo in 360. It's time to dance.